Hello, my name is Brittany and welcome to Family Fridays Paint Night. A few words before we begin. Happy 3rd birthday, Family Fridays! Never would I have imagined that I would be facilitating a painting workshop for the last 3 years. The time we have spent together painting, laughing, and bonding is something I will cherish forever. I'm so sad we could not celebrate 3 years together with yummy food and cake like last year, but I hope you can have quality time painting with your loved ones safely at home instead. As tradition, a poem titled A Family Friday 3rd Birthday. Today is extra special because this workshop is turning 3. We'll paint, relax, keep safe, and send our love virtually. It seems like just yesterday we celebrated year 2, and now there is so much artwork, all created by you. We made 10 new paintings, maybe some messes, promoted family bonding, and had many artistic successes. Today is extra special as we start our journey to year 4. And the best news about Family Fridays is there will be many more. Let's take a moment and reflect on what we've been up to this past year. Again, thank you so much for your continued interest and support for this workshop. You can expect a new video every 3rd Friday of the month for the foreseeable future until we can resume classes in person at the Art and Spirituality Center. Speaking of which, there are other classes being held virtually if you are interested in taking any of those. I'll leave the link to our virtual calendar in the description box below. As a reminder, my class was made to promote bonding between family and friends. You do not need to be an artist to enjoy art. My art isn't perfect, so don't feel yours needs to be either. To all those participating in this activity, I want you to try your best and don't worry about the outcome. My hope is for you to let go, get lost in the artistic process, and forget about what's currently happening in the world, even just for a little bit. One last thing before we begin. Feel free to pause, rewind, fast forward, mute, or do anything you need in order to follow along with this video. I normally take over 3 hours to complete a painting, even though my class runs about 2.5 hours. For the sake of time and to make a short video, the clips you see of me painting are sped up significantly. Please, by all means, relax and take your time. I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Here is what we will be painting for September of 2020. Disclaimer, this is not my original artwork as I found it somewhere on the internet. I do not take credit for this concept and I wish I could find the original artist to give credit. Think of this as a study of the original artwork. As you may have noticed, we took a break in May and June due to the pandemic, and this was supposed to be the artwork for May. I loved it so much, as many of you have, so I brought it back to try again. Here we have a bouquet of flowers sitting in a striped vase in front of a blue background. Feel free to take artistic control, change the colors, make additions or adjustments, or change it up completely. The choice is yours. Alright, let's talk about paint. We'll be using acrylic paint for this activity. You can use the fancier, more expensive paints if you want to. For this project, I'll be using paints you can find at your local craft store or even Walmart that is less than $1. We'll need a few colors: pink, red, purple, darker blue, sky blue, light green, dark green, black, and white. We'll only need 3 brushes today: a large flat brush, a medium flat brush, and a small round brush or detail brush. Some other materials we will need: something to put under the canvas or canvas board, such as a tablecloth or newspaper. You can also use a mat board like this one I've used several times. Of course, you need something to paint on. I personally will be using a canvas board, 12 by 16 specifically. You can use an actual canvas of any size too. Then we have our paints. You'll need a plate to put the paint on. You can also use a palette if you have one, a water cup to clean your paintbrushes, And lastly, a paper towel or an old towel. I have a towel I've used plenty of times for other paintings, as you can see here. Okay, order of operations, how this painting will go. First, we'll start with the background, painting our sky blue fading to a white. Then measuring about a third of the page right here, we're going to draw an oval, and then from the corner going down to the page, that will be our vase. Then we will sketch out the stripes of the vase and then paint them in. Then from here, we're going to map out where we want our flowers to go. As well as make some lines for the leaves. Then we will go ahead and start painting our leaves. After the leaves are done, we're going to go ahead and start working on these two flowers over here. After we paint those flowers, we're going to go ahead and start with our light blue and purple flowers. And then from here, we're going to work on our pink and red flowers, going back and forth between them. Might take you a couple of tries, so between we're going to work on our rosebuds, as well as make little dots to fill up some space. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start pouring out some of my sky blue as well as my white onto my palette. And then I'm going to water that sky blue down with some water. I kind of want to make my background look a little bit like watercolor, so this is what I would have to do. With my large flat brush, I'm going to go ahead and kind of make the strokes look like X's and plus signs. I'm not trying to blend it in completely like how I've done in the past. I kind of want to make it look like watercolor and make it look like it was just effortlessly done, and I'm not focusing too much on it. I will note here it's a little too light for me, so I'm going to let this dry a little bit and then go in with some paint that's not watered down so much and continue my ombre. So from the top it's going to be that sky blue, and then towards the bottom I'm going to dip my brush into the white and just work my way on up, and in the middle it should blend together. Now let's sketch out the vase. So measuring about a third of the page, I'm going to go ahead and draw out an oval shape, which will be the opening of the vase. Now from the corner of what we just drew, I'm going to go ahead and draw a curved line for the side of the vase. Now I'm going to go ahead and sketch out the stripes that go on my vase. I'm making them kind of a medium to small size thickness. You can make them thicker if you want to, thinner if you want to. You don't have to do stripes. You can do polka dots. You can do a solid color. You can add glitter to it. You can literally do whatever you want. It is up to you. we're going to paint the stripes of our vase black and white. I'm going to pour out some black and white, and I'm going to first start painting with the white, let that dry, and then going over with the black. The stripes don't have to be perfect, but you'll see me going back and forth because I can't paint inside the lines and I like my stripes to be crisp. So just do whatever you want, change the colors, make it black and white. It is completely up to you, but for now we're just going to go ahead and color in our vase. I'm going to loosely sketch out where I want my flowers to go. The first one I'm going to draw is coming off of the corner of the vase. That's going to be our biggest one. And then I'll have some floating around there, some big and small. And I have about 8 flowers in total of the circles. And then on the right side, I'm going to go ahead and sketch out what I believe is a hydrangea. I'm not very familiar with my flowers, but I think it's a hydrangea, and that's what I'm sketching out right here. And now I'm going to go ahead and sketch out the placement of where I want the stems of my leaves to go. So aside from the flowers, we're going to be adding some greenery in there, and that'll just make up the rest of the bouquet. Okay, I'm going to begin by pouring out the color greens that I have. I have a dark green, a light green, and I also have an olive green. You don't need that other color. You can actually mix an olive green type color with a light green and a little bit of that pink that you have. So first I'm going to, with my detail brush and my dark green paint, I'm going to make those lines a little bit thicker and darker just so I can see where my leaves are supposed to go. I'm dipping in with some white, and I'm going to dip in a little bit with some of that green just to give the stem of my leaves a little bit more dimension. And now with my medium flat brush, I'm going to start painting in some leaves. There's so many different types and shapes and colors of leaves. Feel free to do whatever you want. This is just the standard go-to shape that I tend to paint and draw. So go ahead and start filling in your stems and leaves. And I'm just going to go ahead and go back and forth between my dark green, my light green, and my olive green just to give it some dimension. And you might see me add a little bit of white in there as well to attempt to do some veins on the leaves as well. Now these leaves over here are a little bit different. First, I'm going to, again, with my medium flat brush and my dark green color, starting from the center, I'm just going to do these upwards flicking motions. So in the middle it's darker and then it kind of fades out in the pointy areas. I'm going to alternate between my dark green, my light green, and my olive green, and just kind of go back and forth and give it some dimension. Now that we have our leaves done for the most part, we're going to start working on our flowers. First, we're going to do the hydrangeas. Pretty sure they're hydrangeas. So with my sky blue and my medium brush, I'm not going to paint it a solid color. I'm going to be doing these dab motions. Just dab, 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 dab. First with the sky blue, and then I'm going to go in with the darker blue with my paintbrush still having that light blue on there. It's just going to mix together and blend. And from there, I will also add in some purple occasionally, and then some green as well, and a little bit of white. If you're more comfortable letting the layers dry between, that is totally fine. For this layer, I felt it would be best to do the sky blue and the dark blue together while it's still wet, so the dark blue wouldn't overpower the sky blue. It's more so supposed to be on the lighter side. Okay, the moment we have all been waiting for, we're finally going to start working on our flowers. First, we're going to do the blue ones and then the pink and red ones. So I'm kind of mapping out again where I want the blue flowers to go, first with a layer of white. With these kind of flowers, personally for me, I do it to where the paint is wet all the time. I'm just constantly adding new colors without really washing off my brush because the colors are all going to blend together anyways. Your flowers might just turn lighter with all the white that you add. You can kind of see that it's doing that right there. If it does do that, just simply move on to another flower with a different color while the previous flower dries. So you're constantly moving back and forth between a couple of different ones. And there's really no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of making a bunch of half circles in C's, kind of focusing on the middle being the darker color and the outside being more of a lighter color. Here I'm adding in some purples, dark blue, sky blue, and white. And eventually with all of our little C's that we're doing, it just looks like petals coming together. So just play with it a little bit. If you're not liking how it's turning out, let it dry and you can do a whole another layer on top. And yeah, feel free to change up the colors. I like these ones to be a little bit lighter because the next ones that we're going to do, which is the pink and the red ones, those will be the more vibrant ones, and those ones are closer to us. They're in front of these ones. So take your time, enjoy the flowers, and have fun. So now that we've had practice with our technique with the lighter blue colors, we're going to move on to the red, pink, and white flowers. I'm just letting you know, personally, I had a little bit of trouble with this one because red and white together make pink, as we all know. And this particular pink that I already had on hand was basically the color that this red and white made. So whenever I added some white, it would just make pink and everything just blended in together. So with this one, with these flowers, I definitely took my time and let layers dry between, and I also was a little bit impatient and just started layering paint on top of paint, and then I realized that wasn't working out for me. So it was a learning process even for me. So don't get frustrated, don't get discouraged, just let it dry if you need to. A nice little handy tool that I like to use, and we have that in our Family Fridays class, is a hair dryer, a blow dryer on hot heat if you have one. Definitely dries up the paint a lot faster. But again, same technique. We're just doing a bunch of C's, alternating our colors between red, pink, and white, focusing more so the darker colors on the middle and the lighter colors on the outside. And eventually it'll make this nice little rosy color. So as you can see here, it's kind of just blending together, and I'm trying my best to fix it, but it's just still blending together. So feel free to just stop, take a break, let it dry, and just add in a few more colors at the same time and build on top of that. So have fun, enjoy the flowers, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, how's it going? Are you taking a break and letting your flowers dry like me? So in the meantime, while I'm letting that layer dry, I'm going to go ahead and start on my little rose buds, my little flowers that are waiting to bloom. So kind of where I did some of those lines that didn't have leaves on them specifically, and even just in random spots that you feel could use a little bit more color, I'm going to go ahead and paint some little buds, which is basically kind of like a tulip shape, like a U that's a little bit wavy at the top. So first I'm going to go in with a red color and then add a little bit of white and then some of my pink just to give it a little bit of texture and dimension. It doesn't have to look perfect. I like this painting because it's different from what I normally do, which is I'm very particular about things and I like things blended perfectly, and I don't like the way a dry brush looks sometimes. But with this painting, that's the more the merrier. I love the way that this looks. So feel free to make it look a little bit rough, a little bit artsy, and just have fun with it. As I am still waiting for my flowers to dry, which will still probably take a little bit longer, I'm going to go ahead and start filling in some of the space that I have, the extra space, and just do a couple of little dots. With my smaller round brush, I'm going to use basically all the colors that I had. I'm going to use some red, some pink, some of that purple and blue, just a few dots here and there, and it'll really help fill up the canvas. That's a little trick to use. Whenever I do a landscape painting like how we've done in the past, I like to use the star technique, like the flicking up with your index finger. That just really helps with the background and fill up all of that space that we weren't using. So feel free to do that if you want to. You don't have to, but I'm just going to do this as I continue waiting for my flowers to dry. Okay, so kind of finishing off my flowers. They've dried for the most part. So now I'm going to go in and add some of those same colors again, but I'm trying not to add in so much color at one time, which may or may not have worked out for me. I still had to do a couple of layers, but it's fine. Everything is fine. So again, kind of focusing on the darker being the center, and then the outwards leaves and petals being that lighter color. So have fun with it. This is our last step of the painting, and we'll see you when we're done. And that is it, my friends. Good job if you made it this far and completed the painting. I'm happy with my finished product and I hope you are with yours too. If your painting looks different from mine, that is totally fine. Again, I miss everyone and I really wish I were with my Family Friday class, painting alongside them and having our yearly birthday party. I'm also happy to know that more people have gotten the chance and opportunity to do art safely at home and on their own time. I hope these videos bring you joy and you were able to relax and not worry about the current events of the world, even just for a little bit. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time.